Is it possible to beat Splatoon 2 without moving the camera? The entire point of Splatoon is that you look around and shoot things. But if we removed the looking around part and just shoot things, I'm asking if it's possible to beat the entirety of Splatoon 2's hero mode without moving the camera. For this run, we'll be going into the option settings and turning off motion controls. And we will not be moving the right joystick or pressing the Y button at all. We start off with the tutorial area, which is obviously very easy because it's the tutorial area. This is now a minimalist run. How many times do you need to move the camera to beat Splatoon 2? And yeah, we start off with 1 to clear the tutorial area. Then we can head into Octo Canyon, where we actually learn a little bit about Agent 4's camera movement mechanics. When you move to the left or the right, the camera actually moves to the left or the right a little bit too. This lets you just turn around wherever you can turn around. Remember, you can look around with R. No, I can't. Here's a little trick for activating special attacks. When usually activating special attacks, you have to press the right joystick, but you might accidentally move the camera while doing so. So, I'd recommend going into the system settings, going down to controls and sensors, and changing the button mapping so that right stick press is something like the minus button, something they'll probably never press. And this lets you safely activate special attacks without having to worry about moving the camera. Not that it's that useful in this scenario. Our first problem comes at the end of level 2, where we need to hit this sponge. The bombs can't really reach. The gun isn't at the right camera angle to be able to hit the sponge. Can't climb on the fence. But you can actually hit the bomb against the railing. And then you can jump up, hit it with the gun, and climb on up to the very first boss, Octo Oven. Who thankfully is very easy, and lets us move on to Sector 2, Suction Cup Lookout, which I then spent the next 15 minutes trying to find out how to get inside level 4. The gun was too high up to be able to hit it, and yeah, eventually found a way by standing on this platform a little while away and throwing bombs over. You now get access to the Hero Roller, which is a much better weapon at activating levels that are beneath you. Most of Sector 2 is easy enough, other than level 6, which has a lot of problems in it. First one being right away. We can't hit this grappling, it's just too high up, and standing on the orange box we get so close, but still not high enough. But I found out that a bomb actually has a little bit of extra height and can hit the grappling. The next area though is a lot more difficult, and it's been a while trying to jump up to the next area by standing on the fence, but the wall isn't inkable and you can't get up there. So I gave up. Set our current camera movement to 2. And now our camera is stuck like this for the rest of the level, and we have to do some pretty difficult fan parkour stuff to be able to get through. And also, if you die once, the camera will reset, and we need that camera to be like that to be able to hit some of the grapplings later on. So I took a break to do some other levels, and also grabbing power eggs along the way. This let me enough to upgrade to auto bombs, which were much better at hitting the fans because they did not get carried by momentum and wouldn't fall off the platforms. Yes, I realised curling bombs would have been a much better choice after this. And I also realised that you can actually stand on the piece of land next to the fan and just hit it with your regular gun. The next problem comes where we need to hit this propeller. And I can't hit this propeller. It's just too far away for bombs to reach. Our gun's at the wrong angle to be able to hit it. So I'm just not going to hit it. Because I don't need to. Using the stingray earlier in the level, we can jump off the edge of the platform activate the stingray mid-air and hit the grappling while falling to be able to skip up to the next area, not hitting the propeller at all. Whoa. The next area though is just a little bit more difficult. Wait, I mean a lot more difficult. So, using a different skip to be able to skip up to the next area, we can be at the final area with the stingray. So then we can use the same trick as before, just to skip up to the final area. Oh wait, no we can't. Guess we have to move the camera then. And if you're thinking we can just use the stingray to skip both the areas, I can't. The grappling that's supposed to be there does not load in until you do the trick shot, so yeah, it is required. Rest of Sector 2 is easy enough, other than the end of Level 8, where we need to hit all of these things. The camera does change its angle by whatever state you enter it by, but you can't enter it looking upwards, so you do have to move the camera upwards. But don't just aim randomly, make sure you aim in an angle that can hit everything that you need to hit. The last ink furler at the top is a little bit more difficult. You can't hit it with a direct hit, so you have to hit it with an indirect hit, which doesn't have enough momentum to be able to make it to the bottom. So hit it with an indirect hit and then follow it up with a direct to be able to get up to the top. And after killing the ugliest boss since Tantalus, we can now move on to Sector 3, Beakers Depot, which we get access to the slosher, which is a much better way of opening up levels that are beneath you. Sector 3 is also easy enough, save for 2 levels, level 13 and level 14. Level 13 has this problem, but can be solved with hitting the brown box down to stand on the orange box to throw a bomb up. Hit the drum. And the next area though is a little bit more difficult. The drum is just too high up, so I moved the camera. And now the camera is stuck like this for the rest of the level. Same problem with level 6. Most of it's easy, save for the end where you need to be standing on the bottom shelf to be able to hit that wall. And then I did it all, was celebrating, and then accidentally moved the camera while doing so, and had to do it all over again. The other level that's a bit of a challenge is level 14, where we need to hit this orange box at the top of this wall to be able to clear up. The charge shot up cannot be able to hit the top, and even while standing on the platform behind it, it doesn't have enough time. So I added another one to the counter. There is a checkpoint later on which you can die at to reset the camera. So yeah, then we come across this problem with the bridge. The first one can be hit by climbing up and hitting it, but the second one we can't climb up to. You can, however, climb on top of the bridge and then hit it down from there. Now how am I going to hit this one? It's on the ceiling. New plan, don't die, keep the camera stuck like that for the rest of the level, which is easy enough, which makes hitting the second switch much easier, and hitting the third one possible. You can now climb up and finish the rest of the level. This had nothing to do with the run, this was just me messing around while editing. And now we finally get to the first boss that's actually hard. Octo Stomp's second and third phase has a buckle around his face, and our gun is too low down to be able to hit it. But bombs can actually hit it, only doing little amounts of damage, but with enough of them, you can break the buckle. Also, it does more damage when you hit him doing a charge for some reason. And with enough bombs, you can finish the second and third phases and finally kill him. Now it's time for Slimy Skinned Gary's son, in Slimy Skinned Gary's son, there's not that much challenges, other than this guy in level 13, the end of level 18, and this invisible pathway section in level 20. I also finally bought curling bombs, which are a much better way of opening up levels that are beneath you. One big problem is in level 21, when you hit this switch. The first switch can be hit, but the next ones just seem a little bit too high up for the gun to hit enough of it. But for some reason, there's a glitch, where if you pause and unpause really fast, any switch with only a little bit of ink on it will activate. Now the next switch we have to hit is moving, which makes it... oh, I died. The next switch we have to hit is a little bit more difficult because it's moving. I managed to get a little bit of inked, and luckily a little bit of is all we need. This makes the rest of the level easy. And now we get to the second boss that's actually hard. Octo Shower's Zocopters standing on top of him are too high up for the gun to be able to hit, and can only barely be hit by bombs. Most bombs will roll to the edge and not be able to hit it, but auto bombs will walk towards the centre and stand under the Octopters, blowing up, doing maximum damage, which is not that much. After throwing an army full of auto bombs on top of his hat, I finally managed to kill 2 of them, but the third one is just too high up for the auto bombs to be able to hit. So after throwing another army of auto bombs on top of his hat, I've concluded that it is impossible to be able to hit it with auto bombs. So I gave up and just moved to the camera. And even worse, for the second and third phases, your camera resets, meaning you have to move it 2 more times. This boss took up 3 camera movements. I don't like him. And now we finally move on to Sector 5, Cephalon HQ. Why are these names getting harder and harder as we go on? The first problem comes in the overworld, where we need to hit all of these ink furlers before they run out. We can hit the first 2 by jumping and throwing a bomb, but the third one just is a bit too high up. So here's the strategy. Throw an auto bomb on the very corner of that one, hit the first one, jump up and hit the second one to be able to climb right on up to the next level. Whoa. We also get access to the hero brush, which is a much better weapon at opening up levels that are beneath you. Our first problem comes in level 23, where we need to hit all these balloon fish. The first row can be hit, but the next one is just too high up for the cannon to be able to hit. And the gun can't really work either. But for some reason, somehow I managed to land on top of the balloon fish, and then I just fell down and hit it while falling. And then you can go on... oh, I died. Now our next problem comes where we need to hit this switch, which is on the ceiling. Even with the most high up weapon, the blaster, it can't even get anywhere close to being able to hit it. So I gave up and just moved the camera. And inside the level we have this problem, where we need to hit both these switches on the walls, which are way too high up for the gun to be able to hit. So I moved the camera again. The end of level 25 is also very difficult. Possible, just very difficult. There is an ink storm earlier in the level that makes it a lot easier. And the rest of Sector 5 is completely easy. Other than level 27, which I accidentally entered using the hero brush, which made it a bit more difficult. And now the boss door opens, and we can finally fight Octavio. But before I did go through some early levels to grab power eggs, so I had enough to upgrade the hero shot. This would make the Octavio fight a lot easier. Now it's time to fight our friend's best friend. Octavio, no joke, is one of the easiest bosses of the game. He just, like, his fists move right in front of you, and you can kill him, finishing the run with exactly 11 camera movements. Okay, bye.